Hello, everyone. My name is Abby Licatino, and we're going to be doing another interview with Coach Guy LeCompte. We have just a couple fun questions to get to know him a little better, and I'm looking forward to this. So thank you for being here, Coach.
Thank you, Abby.
My first question for you is, please tell us a little bit about your education, your background, and your careers.
Yeah, thank you, Abby. So I graduated from LSU with a bachelor's degree in business administration and a minor in math. So I'm not your stereotypical coach that has PE or social studies background and roll the ball out and blow a whistle. But I spent my first few years out of school, I spent it in the private sector and managed multi-million-dollar businesses and had a successful career in doing so. However, I have a calling on my life to work with young kids, and somehow or another, I guess God has a way of nudging you. But I planned on going back to school for medicine, and so I needed to take a few prerequisite classes to apply for medical school. So I accepted a job teaching chemistry, and so I taught chemistry my first year. And after coaching and teaching, I worked with a coach. He coached basketball, and he was previously a dentist. And so he gave up his dentist practice to coach basketball and teach. And he taught science, I think biology. And so he and I started speaking. So I was thinking, is this ridiculous to walk away from business or medicine to coach high school football and teach? So I wound up doing it. I didn't think it was ridiculous because he walked away from a dental practice. So in that time, it's been what they say is, if you do what you enjoy, what you love, you never worked a day in your life. And so I've been fortunate that over the past 29, this is my 29th year. So the past 28 years, I haven't had to work a day in my life because I've done what I've enjoyed. You get to impact lives. I think that there's a lot of kids nowadays, and I think that the strain and just the societal pressures, there's a lot of families I've noticed over the last 29 years that have divorced. I have a lot of families that are broken. And so the kids usually pay the consequence. I'm a product of a broken home. And so I feel like God sometimes puts you in situations and shapes you to be able to help others, because it's really not about us. It's about people around us and how many people that you can bless or help in your journey, I guess, in your life's journey. So I chose education, and I'm glad that I have, because I feel like I've been able to make a positive impact on a lot of young men out there.
That's fantastic. I love it. That's really neat. My second question was, what made you go and choose education? But I think you answered that really beautifully right there. Do you have anything to add?
No, I think that as far as coaching, you can maybe look at it as you get to coach a sport that you enjoy and I love, and you get to work with kids who have the same motivation, and you get to use that. I think it's a sport that helps you learn how to handle things when you get knocked down, because life is going to knock you down at times. There's going to be things, and it's not really what happens to us, but the way we perceive what happens to us and the way we handle it. And so I think a lot of young men need positive role models in their lives. And I feel that I can be one of those. I try my best to do that, not just by words, but by the way I live and the family that I've raised. And so, I've been fortunate. My son played football for me. Both of my children graduated from Mandeville High School. They are a product of St. Tammany Parish. I've worked in St. Tammany Parish for 20 years and have lived here for about 24 years. I love our parish. I've worked on the west side and the east side of the parish and have been in both the Salmon and the Mandeville communities. And I think we have a tremendous parish. I think that in Mandeville in particular, I've gotten to make a lot of friends, and we have a lot of great people. I think it's a wonderful place. In my opinion, it's the best place in the state to live. A lot of very intelligent people. We were able to accomplish a lot at Mandeville High School because we embraced the community. There's a lot of smart people who appreciate a good, honest, hard day's work and the way you treat their children. And so they're supportive. They get involved. I think that, my motivation right now to pursue school board is because I've seen a lot of parents across the country in school board meetings get shut out. It's not a welcoming environment. I think that we're making a very big mistake because, a hot topic right now is diversity. And in my opinion, and everything that we've been brought up to believe is that if you have a mixture of opinions, and then you have a diverse set of people working towards a common goal, you're going to get better ideas than if you have a homogenous set, a group of people all thinking and doing the same thing. I think that diversity, in my opinion, is that we need to listen. We need to listen to a lot of the people in the community and how it affects them. It's hard to empathize with people, but everybody's got different life experiences and upbringings. And I think that they have perspectives that if we don't listen to it, that we're going to miss out on something. So I think creating an environment where we listen to the people in the community, because again, this is a great community with a lot of great people. And I've been fortunate to have coached thousands of kids and getting to know thousands of people and people that I can call my friends in this parish. And so, and I've learned a lot from them because I don't know everything, but I learned a lot from them, and we were able to do some nice things at Mandeville High School. And again, it's about the experience. How do the kids that we've coached and that we teach, how do they reflect on their high school career, whether they're in the band, whether they play tennis, cheer, dance, it doesn't matter if they're what their activity is. But my primary goal was to get kids involved and keep them on campus. And that when they reflect back on their high school career, that it was a positive one, you know? And so I think people in education, we have a very, very important responsibility, because there's times where we spend as coaches more time with the kids than parents do. I know, and I can use this for an example. Ed Ogeron called me, Coach, would you speak to Cody? I happened to coach Cody. He was a quarterback for us. He doesn't plan on going to college. So you have a football player not listening to his dad, who's Ed Ogeron. And so within a 5-minute conversation, convinced Cody he needs to go to McNeese and play football. He's just graduated from McNeese and leaves as the all-time leading passer. So had he not done that, how would he have reflected on, you know, his whole experience in high school and college? But we as educators or coaches, we have a tremendous responsibility, because we can certainly, by what we say, can make or break students and kids. They reflect back on it. And so I think that we have to treat this very, very seriously and remove the politics from education. We have to do this because it's what's best for the kids. And so in some sense, and through 29 years of being in education, I've seen ridiculous policies passed down. I've seen both in curriculum and in discipline. I've watched teachers' hands be tied, administrators' hands be tied on what they feel is politically correct, but not what's in the best interest of the students. And so I do believe discipline is what you do for children and not what you do to them. And so if we want to look at how we can improve our schools and test scores, I believe that teachers are the greatest assets in the schools and that we have to support them. But not all teachers are good. I'm not going to pretend that they are. But we need to attract and we need to maintain the good teachers. And so we don't want to run the good teachers out, because most people quit a job, okay? They quit their boss, not their job. And so if they don't feel appreciated in what they're doing, because a lot of teachers are good, man, they go above and beyond, and they enter this profession, not for the money, obviously, but to make a difference, which is the whole reason I'm running for school board, is I believe I can make a difference. And so I think that if we're going to improve our test scores, that we need to do a couple of things. I think tracking students is one. I don't think that every student needs to be considered a college bound. I think we need to have vocational tracking. You know, I don't believe that, maybe they're saying that we do, but I don't believe that we truly do. I don't believe that the diesel mechanic needs to take advanced math. The kid who really aspires to be that, because I've had students, and I still do, who, if you start talking to them about what they're passionate about, whether it's diesel mechanic, they're talking over your head and they light up and they get excited. And I think we need when in education, we need to figure that out, what kids are motivated to do. And we need to give them that vision, and we need to support that and push them in those areas that they're interested in. We need to make it a good experience. And so that you can't have a good experience in the classroom if, and I'm not going to pretend all students are good, if we're spending so much time focusing on the students who are discipline problems and disruptive in class, the students who need to be in there aren't getting the education. It's getting watered down. We're not able to teach so if you have a student that wants to be a diesel mechanic in a certain math class, I'm just using this as an example, but he's not interested. And teachers feel the pressure that they need to pass these standardized tests. They begin teaching the test and not the subject. And so, again, like they said with math, it was a mile wide, but an inch deep. It needs to be not as wide, but deeper. They need to be able to apply what they're learning. And I think that we're putting kids out there and they're able to pass the standardized test. Okay, which, how do you apply? When would you ever use calculus or differential equations or linear algebra? When would you actually apply? But if you can't get to those subjects because you're having a discipline, kids who are bored in the class because they're not being stimulated, because it's not in their interest, and they've been socially promoted through the system, they're not prepared to pass the class. But if the teachers are having to spend all their time focused on these students, the ones who are college bound that want to be doctors and lawyers, investment bankers, they're not getting the education they need. Mm-hmm. And so I think just like polls, they can be deceptive, just like percentages, they can be deceptive. I might have said use the wrong term, but it's a lot of deception in this. But I think that if we compare our college-bound students and test them and compare them to maybe other countries that are doing the same thing, then we're comparing apples to apples. And I think we have a leg to stand on. But our curriculums have been watered down. Our teachers aren't being supported very much. And our principals and administrators, their hands are tied. And so, to be quite honest, a lot of people are afraid of litigation. So decisions are being made on what's politically correct and how people may view their decisions. And I think that we have people that are afraid to make decisions right now in leadership roles, and that's not leadership. And so I know I went off on many tangents, but I think that if we're going to improve our school scores, that we need to do these simple things and get back to common sense approach. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And that we need to do what's in the best interest of the students, of our kids in our community. You know, years ago, it said it took a town to raise a kid. And so I think it takes a town. Unfortunately, we live in a political landscape where everybody's at odds and everybody's divided. And so I think that people need to sit down and listen instead of shouting their points across. And so let the pride and the ego drop, and let's do what's best for our community and our kids. And that's really simple.
I love it. That's great.
But it's simple.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Coach. That's awesome. So just to drill down on why you're running for a candidate in your District 1 for the school board, what do you think it is that you can bring to the school board that is going to make a difference in your community?
So I don't have a business. I'm not a politician. I'm a parent. And I chose a long time ago to enter into education. I felt that I can impact and make a difference in people's lives. I'm very, very, very passionate about impacting our young people and being a positive role model for them. I think that after 29 years of experience in education, I've spent time where the rubber meets the road. I understand the challenges. I understand what it's like to teach a disruptive class. I understand what it's like to teach an honors level math class. And so I know the challenges you have as a teacher, as a coach, as an athletic director, what challenges that the coaches face in budgets. I understand what it's like to be an administrator and having to discipline students and having to deal with parents. I think that if you combine all of that with my background in business and finance and management, that I have a unique approach that I can bring experience to the financial side and the way we manage our funds and budgets. We don't want it to be wasteful. We want to make sure that we're not buying things twice, that we're not wasting money, that every penny is allocated towards the betterment of our students and how we can benefit our students. I think that that needs to be done. I think that maybe we could do a better job. I know there's a lot of concerns out there as far as how big our budget is and are we allocating the funds correctly or properly. And so I can look at the spreadsheets, I can look at our accounting and determine, you know, are there better ways? Again, I've been in that system. I understand how our budgets work and operate because I managed our athletic departments and I've done it for 3 different schools, Mandeville High being one, and I'm doing it now at Franklinton. And so we were able to accomplish a lot at Mandeville. We took over a program that didn't have very much money. you would think that it did. And I think that a public, and one of the things is the public was not aware of the way we had to operate. And so, again, communication is key. I think that communicating and shedding light on things, on areas, and allowing people to be aware of it, and also listening, because again, I think there's a lot of smart people and they have experience that needs to be heard. Because if you just continue to do things the way you have and it's not working, then that, again, that's the definition of insanity. So you take the curriculum and the experience that I have in the classroom, along with the business background, I think that I have a lot to offer. And so the same very reason that I got into education in the first place was to make a difference. That's my whole motivating factor to coming into and running for school board. I think that I can empathize with the teachers and administrators. And I think I can make a difference.
I love it. I think that's fantastic. And that's the true reason of why you would want to do something. So thank you for sharing that with us. I think that's all the questions I have. Do you have any last comments of what you would like the community to know about you?
No, and I think the only thing is, I think that in talking to you and maybe some of the people at the meet and greet, there's a lot of people that don't know me, and I just appreciate you giving me this opportunity that maybe I can get some of this out there. And when I decided to enter into this race, it happened to be in the middle of football season, and I'm committed to my current players. They're counting on me. A lot of them, they need football to get into college. A lot of them have a physical talent to play college football, and they're counting on me. Some of our players, they need that, and that's going to make a difference in their lives, and that's important to me. So I put a lot of time into what I'm doing. It's not that I'm may not be running the best campaign, because I'm not a politician and don't know a whole lot about the campaigning, but I do know a whole lot about commitment, and I'm committed to the players that I have. And so I do know that, and I knew this ahead of time, that it would affect any kind of type of campaign that I have. And I'm just appreciative that you're allowing me to get this out and people get to know me, the ones who don't. And again, if it's God's will, then things will work out. And I know that whatever happens is what he allowed to happen. And we just let the best, I'm praying that the best candidates, whether it's me or anybody else, are elected, and that they do what's best for our kids.
I love it. That's wonderful. Well, it's wonderful getting to know you a little more, Coach. I wish you the best in this campaign, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Abby.
Thank you.